Ah, it's a different level, not a different floor. So I guess floors are actually the levels, and levels are actually the floors. Hey everybody, and welcome to Zero Tolerance! A pretty impressive looking FPS on the Sega Genesis at the time. And this wasn't the 32X, this wasn't the Super FX or anything like that. This was basically native Genesis hardware. Planet Defense Corps. Homeworld date. 2-minute account. Mission time. 2230 hours. Crisis briefing. Insertion craft. Road to space. Station Europe. Zero tolerance. Get ready, soldiers, for another glorious day in the Planet Defense Corps. You're about to do the job you were trained to do. You're absolutely the toughest, meanest soldiers in the Corps. Now listen up to the briefing. There is still no contact with Planet Defense's orbital space station Europe 1. Here's a recording of their last received transmission. As you can see, the crew has been overcome by hostile aliens due to the exchange of small arms fire. The nuclear cooling system has been damaged. Core breach caused by overheating will occur within hours. That sounds terrible. Should probably do something about that, huh? My bad. Your mission is to infiltrate the station and gain control of Europe 1 by eliminating all enemy aliens. Good luck. Okay, soldiers, you heard the briefing and you know the routine. We're here and we're gonna kick some. Hit them fast and hard. How about clean elimination of all targets? Let's go. Yeah, let's do this. It's time to kick ass and chew bubblegum. And I'm down to my last stick. Satay. Specialist in communications and radio, she is also a highly accurate marksman who can consistently hit a 2-centimeter target at 100 meters. Accuracy at such targets is 100 out of 100. Surveillance system specialist, he has received multiple disciplinary actions for insubordination, refuses to follow orders, and conduct. Unbecoming an officer. Okay. The best trained member of the team in hand-to-hand combat, having studied 14 styles. Wolfwall, being the group's doctor and surgeon, is also an expert pistol shooter. Okay, this guy is explosive ordnance, so good with bombs, I assume. Demolition, ballistics, bomb defusal, and countermeasures. Detailed background and profiles classified, extremely top secret. Okay, probably want to go with her, right? You know, just for regular guns fire.
Shotgun collected.
Indeed. Error? Okay. That's fine. Zero tolerance. Okay, there's going to be an error. So in other words, I probably can't use it too often. There you go, buddy. Yeah, it's got some floatiness to it. And I don't mean that because it's controlled with a D-pad. I mean, I'm controlling it with a keyboard, but it's got some slipperiness to the movement. And I don't think that has to do with hardware necessarily, because the Super Nintendo version of Wolfenstein 3D runs just fine. On a technical level, it's impressive, though. Just the fact that this is basically native Sega Genesis hardware, that it's not being done with any kind of enhancement, or at least not that I'm aware of. I don't think it has the equivalent of an FX chip in it. I think this is just native, which also explains why most of the screen is even the 3D representation. It's like a postage stamp. But that's beside the point. Even with the FX chip, the Super Nintendo version of Doom had to have most of it. Similarly, although Doom is more advanced, so that would explain it, but still pretty impressive, though. Bulletproof vest, 40%.
Handgun collected.
Fair enough.
Handgun collected. Handgun collected.
Indeed. Ooh, is that a med kit? Well, I don't need it, apparently. Ah, here we go.
Shotgun collected.
Yes, I see that. Thank you.
Shotgun collected.
Shotgun collected.
Shotgun collected.
I love the voice acting. Even if it is just the same thing over and over again. I guess it's impressive for its time. Although it's probably a good thing there aren't too many guns here. If it was as common as it is Doom to pick up a gun or something, it'd probably wear on the old nerves a little too fast, you know what I mean? Shotgun, 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 collected. I wonder, can you actually fall over the edge? I actually want to try that. Nope, there's a barrier. I should have realized that, but still. Part of me was thinking, no, I want to see what'll happen. It's actually possible if the game will let you make something that stupid. Because Rise the Triad does.
Handgun collected.
Rise the Triad don't give a crap.
Handgun collected.
Rise the Triad will gladly let you fall over the edge in a skybox. It's kind of funny.
Collected. Shotgun collected.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Ooh, it's another medkit.
Medipack collected.
Indeed. Indubitably. And I'm guessing the save stating won't work because for some reason the settings are off. Let me see if I can fix that. Well, it looks like that's not going to be happening. Oh well, it's not really a big deal. The original game wasn't meant to be played with one anyway, so maybe I should not try to cheat myself. I'll do that. For some reason, this reminds me of Wolfenstein 3D. Just the blockish nature of it. Except it also has a sort of gradient effect at the bottom to give the illusion of texture. Even though there obviously isn't a texture. It's more like a skybox along the bottom of it, and along the top of it. Well, obviously the top of it is more of a traditional skybox, what you would expect to see in a skybox, but the bottom almost looks like it's trying to be a floor, but it's obviously a similar technique in that it's also basically a skybox that doesn't move. But it gives the illusion of such. It gives the illusion of shade, of gradients of shade that gradually become cleared as you walk by. It's sort of like that gradient system that Doom uses for its shadows. How it makes all rooms eventually turn off into absolute darkness unless they're 100% bright. It's rather interesting. The way Doom does it, it's rather interesting, I mean. Obviously, it uses actual floor textures, though. This is more of a trick. Hey, buddy. I have to ask you to back off. Back up, man. Yes, I can see that there are handguns being collected here. Thank you.
Medipack collected.
You can also use the auto map, which is thankfully always displayed. That's one bonus to it being postage stamped pretty much all the time. Just the fact that you're able to see enemies on the map at all times. At least when they show up. It seems that they won't show up on the map until they're actually being rendered. Which I suppose makes sense for the technology at the time. Ah, frick. Hey, you bastard.
Handgun collected.
Maybe I should start using the shotgun.
Handgun collected.
Who knows? I have no idea. What the hell's this? An elevator?
Entering docking bay level 2.
Oh, okay. Frickin' elevator, huh? That is not what I expected. But sure, why not? If I have to do it manually, I'll only do it every so often. I think an elevator is a good spot for it. I don't know how forgiving this game is in the face of death, but you never know. I think it would be absolutely fair if the game auto-saved or, had a checkpoint or something at the elevator. Because, that should be plenty of progress for it. You bastard. Crap. They surrounded me. Holy crap! They are really surrounding me. Deceased. Oh, I see. That's interesting. So, what are you good in? Electronics? Huh. Okay, marksman, electronics, combat, medical, pistol shooter. Maybe I want you. Sure. I guess you get several lives here. And if all of you die, the mission's over. That makes sense. Not the biggest fan of it, but it makes sense. Kinda. At least the dead enemies stay dead this time. And it seems he's better at picking out the enemies. Now I understand. It's not that it was a technological limitation necessarily, it's just that she wasn't as good at picking out enemies on the map. She could only pick out enemies on the map that she could physically see, whereas this guy seems to be... Okay, never mind. Throw everything I say for a loop.
Handgun collected.
It seems I stand corrected again. And that it really is only after they render, but for some reason the enemies in that other room were rendered enough to be on the map? Wow, okay, now both my health and my ammo have the same number. That's great. That's fantastic. Okay, now where are the rest of you? Sorry to disappoint all of you, but I need health. A lot more than I need a joke. Oh, right, because he's a medic. Medkits also heal him more. That makes sense. He's good for surviving with a pistol. At least it seems that way. He's a survivor. Not necessarily a good shooter. I wonder if this game could have co-op in it. I'm guessing not because of technical limitations, but... Can you imagine if this game could be played co-op? That'd be pretty wild, at least I think so. Like you could have one person for each slot. Be an interesting co-op experience, at least especially for the time. Yeesh. Some of these bastards really hit you hard, don't they? Okay, I better be careful. Yeesh. They cut into you fast. What the hell are they packing? No, I refuse to believe that they're just packing handguns. Even though it takes just one shot to kill them. That guy's like packing a machine gun, it seems. At least it seems like it. With how rapidly he's firing it. I'm afraid to move forward because they're gonna spawn new enemies and I'm dead. Because I only have one hit point.
Handgun collected.
I'm screwed if anyone else hits me. Somehow I'm surviving. Yeah, look at that. Oh, my luck wasn't gonna last forever now, was it? Freaking hell. Okay, demolition? I don't even have explosives, though. I've never even seen explosives. I guess this guy. Frick. Yeah. The guy who specializes in hand-to-hand. I'm sure I'll be just fine. Not. I'm sure the aliens will be polite and let me get close enough to them to actually have that make a difference. Okay, that was incredibly fortunate. That was incredibly fortunate. Bastards. There you go. Take one freaking step. Yeah, I see that, thank you. Man, they just... Every single hit, it sends you backwards a great amount. Insane. When I try to face towards them and I try to anticipate them by using the map, they still get the upper hand. At least generally. It's very hard to get the drop on them. It's hit and miss. Extremely hit and miss. At least I cleared out this room, so... He got farther than the last guy. You gotta give him that. Maybe it's because he's primarily a melee guy that he's stronger, he can take more hits. That would be... That'd be a revelation, wouldn't it? Oh great, they're giving me guns. And why do I sound upset about that? Because you know for a fact that it's not going to be that easy. That's weird. Okay. So depending on which way you do with that, by holding down the A button, depends on what you do. You can jump, you can freaking crouch, and you can strafe. Fantastic. Too bad there aren't dedicated buttons for strafing, so that you could actually circle strafe. That would probably be better. Much better. Yeah, it seems to be standard 20 unless you are the medic, who has the ability to heal himself for more. Which makes sense. He's the medic survivor after all. The rest of them are combat, primarily. I doubt I'm gonna last much longer, though. Not that it matters, though. Because I'm only recording... this is probably only gonna be a one-off anyway. I doubt I'm gonna go back to this. At least anytime soon. There's so many other games that beg to be played. And while this game is very interesting, and it definitely broke some mold, at least in my opinion, just the fact that it's a pretty intact first-person shooter on a native 16-bit console, I think that's worth some props, right? But still, it's not something I would be clamoring to go back to on its own merits.
Handgun collected.
It has not aged the best. Especially with the ice controls. That's not to say you can't play it, you can't get through it. It's just that for some reason the movement seems... it's hard to explain. I guess like you're trying to move across the surface full of fuel. It's like there's a bit of resistance to starting, and then there's... I don't know, it's hard to explain. Maybe like slush. Like, see, you can see there seems to be a bit of resistance to moving forward, and then there's a slipperiness. Or maybe it's mostly just the resistance and I'm mistaking it for slipperiness, who knows? All I know is that it doesn't feel tight. Not entirely. But, I mean, what do you expect? It's, like I said, it's, as I'm pointing out a million times, it was released on native Genesis. I don't think many games have actually... I question if there are even any other first-person shooters on the Genesis regular. And by that I don't mean the Sega CD or the 32X or any enhanced versions like that. Because obviously Doom released on the 32X, and despite having horrific music, because they basically rushed it out to meet a deadline. Despite that, the 32X version of Doom runs really well. About the only thing wrong with it from a technical level is front-facing sprites, but that's not really that much of a detraction from the experience. Because technically, you can still get them from behind. You can still get them from behind. It does have that coating into it, where the enemies can face against you. I noticed that because there's basically a fan level pack that tries to insert Doom 2 levels into the 32X, and then you'll notice the runway has enemies that face away from you, former humans, pistol zombies. They face towards you at the beginning, and despite the fact their sprites are facing towards you in the 32X version, they're actually facing away from you, and they won't be alerted right away. Unless you alert them, somehow. By firing or getting in front of them or bumping into them or something. Point is, the 32X version was surprisingly intact, from a gameplay perspective. Aside from the fact that it also had less levels than the Super Nintendo version. Again, probably just because they were trying to rush it out. But unfortunately what that means is that it never got the BFG either. At least not in an official capacity. You could use cheat codes to get it, but then you wouldn't have an actual ending once you beat the game. You would just have an MS-DOS prompt, because for some reason the game glitches out and it has an MS-DOS prompt if you use cheats during it. Never made sense. Never could figure that one out. If that was intentional or just a bug. Because it could go either way. I know that with Redneck Rampage Rides Again, once you beat that, it's just a MS-DOS prompt. And then Leonard's basically like, what, that it? That's it? No ending? No proper ending? Which was pretty funny. So I don't know if the 32X version of Doom intentionally had an MS-DOS prompt, or most likely just because they were short on time. But my point is, Zero Tolerance legitimately is working on weaker hardware.
Entering docking bay level 1.
It doesn't have much to work with. Unlike the 32X, which had pretty powerful hardware, that version of Doom. I don't know if any other first-person shooters actually released for the 32X.
Medipack collected.
But I mean, technically, since Doom is very moddable, you could attempt to make representations of first-person shooters with a 32X version of Doom. That would be pretty fun to see, wouldn't it? Although I never figured out how to change enemy sprites or anything like that. I actually made what was an attempt at sort of Wolfenstein 3D level, you know, recreation of E1, M1 of Wolfenstein 3D, just with height and brightness that the 32X version of Doom had. Sort of like an enhanced Wolfenstein 3D, but since I couldn't change the enemies, kind of got stopped dead there. I guess I probably could have just replaced them with former humans or even former sergeants, but
Shotgun collected.
maybe that's a project to come back to sometime. It'd be funny to try to see, because you can change the level textures, you just can't, I don't think you can add more of them. I think you have to change existing ones, so it's a pretty small pool. But it would be funny to try to see
Shotgun collected.
more modern FPS environments just represented on the 32X version of Doom, because why the hell not? Oh, crap. Who knows? Can you imagine like a 32X version? A 32X Doom version of Crisis? Or Hell Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal? I think that would be hilarious.
Handgun collected.
But that's just me. Ah, crap. I'm moving the wrong way.
0 enemy remaining.
Oh, there are no enemies, huh? That's awesome.
Collected.
That's really good. Because I was dying anyway. Well, I mean, I'm not dying now, but proceed to next level, huh?
Shotgun collected. Shotgun collected.
So this is how you get to the next level. Is that it? Is that right?
Floor secured.
Indeed. The floor has been secured. Dock bridge. Oh, I guess you gotta go into the elevator.
Proceed to next level.
How do I proceed to the next level? You're not telling me. I guess I just gotta figure it out for myself, huh? Probably this way, right?
Entering docking bay level 2.
Are there enemies here? Is it cleared here? Because you were never very clear about that. Proceed
to next level.
Oh. So you can't go to it from here either. Which would mean all the enemies are cleared here too. These two count as one level, right? Even though it's literally a different floor, it says it's a different floor.
Entering docking bay level.
Ah, it's a different level, not a different floor. So I guess floors are actually the levels, and levels are actually the floors. Confusing. Confusion, thy name is you. How do I get out of here? No thinking clue. That would be funny, though. Just to go along with what I said. Just mod the 32X version of Doom to make different what-ifs of first-person shooters going on the 32X. Just because. It's just powerful enough that it was able to do a sort of gimped version of Doom decently. Seemingly without too many performance issues. In fact, the sad thing is I think the 32X version of Doom, due to the fact that they were more conservative with its resource usage and it wasn't even entirely full screen, it ran better than the Saturn version of Doom. And that shouldn't be. You would think the Saturn version would beat the living crap out of it in terms of how well it can run. You would think even just the Saturn CPU would put the 32X ones to shame. And I'm not sure if the 32X even had dedicated graphics, so Carmack not allowing it wouldn't necessarily be a problem. Well, compared to the 32X version. Unless, like I said, it might be because the Saturn version uses a much higher screen resolution, too. That might be it. Because the CPU has to render that. And that's not exactly reasonable for the the poor Saturn's CPU, which was too weak for the task, clearly. In fact, I'm not sure, but I think the PS1 version may have also been tainted in that it might have been forced into software rendering, just because it had the affine problem too. In fact, the only one of the three systems at the time that was able to actually do texture perspective on a hardware level was the N64. And the funny thing is, it didn't get a port of the original Doom; it got its own Doom. So maybe that's why it got its own original Doom, because they realized, hey, the N64 is actually pretty powerful, you know, in comparison, because we're not forcing it to use the CPU because it can actually do texture perspective correction on the hardware level. So we may as well enhance it beyond what the original Doom was. Also, I'm now almost entirely certain that the exit this level is supposed to be down here. But I honestly have no idea, because there's no indication on the map anywhere where you would actually need to go. It's just saying exit level, exit level. Well, there's just a button you have to press. But I'm pressing all the buttons except obviously the one that you would need to shoot, because I don't want to use that one. That'd just be a waste of ammo. I guess at this point I'm just looking around. Huh, is it supposed to be Mars? Well, it's adjacent to Doom. Was this supposed to be the moon base? I'm gonna say probably not. Probably not. Nice star system, though. Even if it looks like something you could easily whip together. It's still nice detailing. Okay, I really don't need any med kits. I'm basically at 99%. That would be the biggest waste ever. But oh well. I guess there's really not much left to this anyway, because unless I find the exit, there's really not much else I can do. I guess I'll just have to end this here. I think it's been more than long enough. Hope you guys enjoyed my rambling about various things, including the 32X version of Doom. That is going to have to be it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. Make sure to spread this video around like puzzling labyrinths, and I will see you next time. Now go out there and capitalize on life. Peace out, have a good one, and have a nice and pleasant day. If you enjoyed the content and want to stay up to date, I upload 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single day. You can also subscribe and hit the bell icon, or just check out the end screens right here.